Hey, welcome along to the channel. Now, we're going to be talking about something a little bit different on here. It's usually TV, movies, all that sort of stuff, pop culture. Very rarely, if ever, have I talked about video games. Maybe in passing, I touched this subject before. Huge fan of the Legacy of Kain series. And it's very, very rare that I get excited for a new release. And when I heard Legacy of Kain was on you know, on the way, I was stupidly excited. Now, just to show you that I'm a proper fan, I have the actual Legacy of Kain Blood Omen, and followed up with, of course, Soul Reaver, the second in the series. All originals right here. There's very few, like I've been online, there's very few people seem to have the originals left, since everything's gone digital. So then PlayStation 2 rolls around, we get Soul Reaver 2 is released on that. This here, by far my favourite game of the whole series. We get a follow up to Blood Omen with Blood Omen 2. This is a tasty little game. Now, they were being developed side by side. There's very close release between the two of them. And there's a little bit of a continuity issue between the two games of a character that died in Blood Omen, then Blood Omen 2 rolls around, he's back again. But that was, to the best of my knowledge, whenever the last entry in the series came, Legacy of Kain Defiance, there was supposed to be something in there that would have filled in the backstory of how that character was brought back. But yeah, it's just let me just gather my thoughts right here. Like, I'm not going to review the games. It's a big in-depth story, so much so that 20 plus years later fans are still talking about it. Massive story throughout that series of games. Absolutely epic. So whenever the news came that BitBot Media were planning to bring out a graphic novel, I actually jumped on the back that on Kickstarter, and been the huge fan, massive love I have for this series, I wanted to give it the benefit of the doubt, I should say, and I did my best not to look into any updates. As far as, I went for the physical copy of the comic book. There is a digital copy that's already released. Unfortunately, I'm still sitting here waiting. Now, it's been easily a couple of years now since the Kickstarter was put up, and that thing was funded in a matter of hours. Like, the fan base jumped the same way I did. It's like, we're finally getting Legacy of Kain. We're going to back this. So, as I say, tried my hardest to not look at any updates, anything that came out online, anybody talking about it, any spoilers coming out. I was trying to avoid it all, waiting for the book to come out. Now, we got Legacy of Kain Ascendance came out recently, and didn't get the warmest of welcomes. Now, that was impossible to miss online. I have to say now, the reviews of the comic that came out, the digital version of the comic, because as I say, backer here that is still waiting for the physical copy to come out. And I was just thinking to myself, okay, this is not looking good. When it comes to Legacy of Kain, it's one of those stories, one of those franchises where you think to yourself, okay, if someone is going to tackle Legacy of Kain at this point and try and bring it back, it's either going to be phenomenal or an absolute disaster. Going to the original series of games, there was no middle ground with those games. You either didn't like them, or if you did like them, you had the deepest love for them. And BitBot has fumbled the ball, let's just say, in a major way. This was going to be, I haven't gamed properly since Legacy of Kain Defiance came out. That was actually the last game I ever bought. Kind of fell out of gaming after that there, and only bits and pieces of it at a friend's house or something. I would have jumped on, played a bit of Call of Duty or something. But as far as actually sitting down at my own console, playing games for relaxation and enjoyment, Legacy of Kain was the end of that for me. So this, and the lead up to Legacy of Kain Ascendance, I was definitely considering getting myself a new setup and just for this game alone to play it because Legacy of Kain. Now, when I say I try to avoid any spoilers, because I was a backer on Kickstarter of the BitBot Media that did the comic book, it was kind of hard to miss the updates on that and the comments of the people that actually backed the graphic novel annihilated them guys. There's very few comments, like I was flicking through them before I come on here. There are very few positive ones, very few, and the people that are complaining about it are, it's all down to story and storytelling. It just doesn't have what it once did. Now, I decided, okay, stuff it. There's enough negative reviews going here. Of course, whenever the game came out, Ascendance, you were going to get shorts and YouTube, social media. Kind of hard to avoid it at that point. So I decided, okay, I'm going to sit down here. And I made the best decision of my life, I have to say. I decided not to buy a console, not to waste any more money on Legacy of Kain with purchasing Ascendance. I was like, okay, I'm going to go on to YouTube here, see if anybody's got the gameplay up. And someone had indeed uploaded all the cutscenes for the game. And I do have to say, it is an absolute travesty what these guys have done to our beloved Legacy of Kain. You have definitely... I'm a guy, 47 years old. My heart is absolutely broken with what I seen for Legacy of Kain Ascendance. And I know enough about the graphic novel at this point to know that it's very closely tied into the novel to the point where the final line in the game is "the dead shall rise." We did get Simon Templeman back voicing Kain in there, and Anna Gunn as Ariel is in there, and we have the legend himself, Raziel. We have him back, and for some reason his name has completely escaped my head at this point. Michael Bell doing the voice of Raziel, and you can hear the age in their voices now. Very good performances, I have to say, from the two of them, but the dialogue that they were given, absolutely shocking, terrible. The dialogue between the characters in the original series of games was very Shakespearean. And, there's a line where, in this iteration, and I'm going to bounce off something that another YouTube reviewer used. He pulled out a couple of lines from Soul Reaver 2, and I'm going to kind of echo that for a moment. In the game, Raziel says, "Mobius led me to you, Kain." Kain responds with, "And if Mobius told you I was hidden on the underside of hell, would you throw yourself into oblivion to pursue me?" Now, that is very good dialogue. In this version of Legacy of Kain, if that same scene happened, Raziel would turn up. It's like, "Mobius told me where you were at," and Kain would turn around and say something like, "He doesn't know what he's talking about, isn't that it?" It's just the dialogue, the love for the performance isn't there. It's just not what it was. It's not what we hoped for. And if they want to successfully keep this series of games going, if they want to bring it back, they're going to have to get Amy Hennig back in, that was doing the writing and everything for the original series. I know she's getting up in years now. She's got her own projects and the go. But you need someone in there that knows what they're doing. This, I've said it before, and people hit my guts for saying it. The education level at this point is absolutely terrible. Any idiot with an iPhone can create a short movie at this point. You can create whatever you want very simply with what you have in your pocket these days. The barrier for entry into these industries is insanely low these days, and we are starting to see it now with The Dead Shall Rise and Ascendance. These guys just Oh, cash grab. I have to say, pure cash grab. It really is. If you want a good experience with Legacy of Kain, go for the remasters. You have Soul Reaver 1 and 2 were remastered recently. You've got Defiance has had a remaster as well. Three of the best games now. I'm hoping they will do the same for Blood Omen 2. And what I would love to see, like the original Blood Omen, was like a top-down view video game. Storyline absolutely fantastic, but very, very dated. Very dated at this point. I would love to see the style of that game recreated in the style of Defiance or Blood Omen 2. That would be class if they did that. But for me, I'm just going to dig out the old PlayStation 2 once in a while and give these 5 games a little run through once in a while. It's not something you would ever have pictured yourself saying whenever you have big love for the Legacy of Kain movie or the movies, games. Whenever something new is coming out, you're going to back it to the hilt. It was actually backed. You should actually take a look on. I'm not going to do it now for this video because I'm actually using my phone to record this. But look up Legacy of Kain: The Dead Shall Rise on Kickstarter. See how much money they asked for and how much money they got. Now they hit their target in a matter of hours. They don't give a damn. They don't care. That's the one big thing. Even before this game came out, they're constantly on that Kickstarter throwing out different projects that are tied into Legacy of Kain. Different graphic novels based on characters throughout the series. They're consistently starting projects before they finish the original project. Me, I was a backer on your graphic novel. Where the hell is my physical copy? You need to pull your fingers out and actually do some good business for a change. But as far as the game goes and as far as where they have left the series right now, I have to say, at this point, I kind of wish that the series just stayed dead where it was at. The little ending we got with Defiance and that last line where Kain says, the last gift that Raziel gave to him was the first bitter taste of that terrible illusion, hope. Up to this point, the fan base had hope. We no longer have it for this series unless big changes come whenever you're moving ahead with something else. So, yes, to all the fans out there, my heart is broken along with yours. I know exactly how you feel. This video game, that graphic novel, I'm not even looking forward to reading it anymore. Yeah, I'm probably just going to chuck it in the trash as soon as it comes in the post, if it ever does come in the post.